Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and welcome to your episode of Monday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you'd like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. The first question really comes from Jason, and it is, I really wish that Ubisoft would let us buy what Halloween skin we wanted. I believe that they would make more money if they removed the RNG system. The Alpha Pack system has never been good. Get rid of it, please. So I definitely agree 100% that they should allow players the ability to buy whatever skin that they want from these events, but I don't know if you're right on the whole. This would actually make them more money in the long run. The reason why they have these kinds of systems is so that people spend more than they originally intended. If all you wanted was one or two skins from an event, those are the ones that you desire, you may have valued them at like $5 to $10. That's what you think that they're worth. If you then spend that on those packs to try to get lucky and you don't get the ones that you wanted, I think statistically you're more likely to spend more, hoping because you already have an investment in this event. You're like, okay, maybe the next 5 or 10 I'll get lucky and hopefully get the ones that I want. That's kind of where they get you. This is the reason why I'm not a fan of these kinds of mechanics in video games, because they go against the best interest of the player. Now, I will give credit to Ubisoft that they have taken a great step in the right direction where you can buy all of these with renown. Granted, I think it's around 300,000 renown, so it's a significant grind, but if you've been playing Rainbow Six Siege constantly the last couple of months and you want to spend that renown on this event pack, then you have every ability to do so, and so it can be technically 100% free. And so I think that that was a phenomenal move on their part, but it still doesn't take away that complete randomness from the pack system where everyone else that doesn't have 300,000 renown at their disposal has to deal with. And so I'm really hoping that for the next season or whatever the next upcoming event is that they allow players to purchase these directly. I realize it may not make them as much in the long run, but it is definitely more beneficial to the players. It's a great step in the right direction. I think that they're almost there, but there could be more done to improve upon it. The next question comes from Blake, and it is, if this new Jaeger is not going to balance Jaeger out, how should Ubisoft balance him? So if you're not aware of what he's referring to, there is a rumor going around right now that the next season is going to have some sort of defensive operator that can deal with nades. Currently, Jaeger, as we all know, is the only one that has access to that sort of a gadget, and while Warden was technically supposed to do something along those lines, Ubisoft even admitted that he was supposed to be sort of a moving or mobile Jaeger. Obviously, that hasn't panned out. If you're not aware, he has like a 90+ pick rate on PC in the Platinum and Diamond category, because really he's the only one that can deal with nades, and so obviously he is going to be a top choice. Nades are one of the most valuable tools for the offensive team. You need someone that can deal with it. He's the only option. And so the theory is that if we do get this Jaeger 2.0 character that does something similar, that his pick rate will plummet substantially and that he'll be in a more acceptable level and balanced out with all of the other defensive operators. Having someone that is this required is definitely a problem, and that's, I think, the reason why Ubisoft is going to be taking steps with this upcoming season. The thing is, though, and you mentioned it in your question, is what happens if this new character is introduced and nothing happens to Jaeger's pick rate, or it doesn't drop nearly as much as it should? And that is a distinct possibility. His gadget, yes, is very valuable, but he's been in the game since the very beginning. People know the ins and outs of how to use his weapon properly, and arguably he has one of the strongest weapons on the defensive team. It hits incredibly hard. It's very, very strong. And so even if you do have another option available, is that really going to have any impact? Realistically, yes, we are going to see his pick rate drop, but I have a suspicion that we're probably just going to see Jaeger in tandem with this new operator. Like, if you're able to have two characters on defense that can deal with nades, isn't that just better than having one? Now, granted, if you're playing ranked, you would be able to sideline one of them at the beginning, so if you don't want to deal with one, you can do so, but imagine now two operators on defense that can make nades basically obsolete, like that is going to be very powerful. And so once again, Jaeger's pick rate is still going to be quite high in that kind of a situation. In general though, this next season should be quite interesting. I'm crossing my fingers that whatever we do get is going to be a fun substitute, because as much as I love Jaeger, he does need to have some competition. The next question is, do you think that the TTK is too fast in Modern Warfare? It seems like I always get taken out instantly. Yeah, I will admit that TTK is pretty ridiculous in the new COD. I think what kind of compounds upon it and makes it more noticeable is a combination of not only sort of mediocre netcode, there's a lot of times where I feel like I'm behind cover and I still get taken out, but also the very slow movement speed and the map design. Because a lot of these maps are quite large and there's a lot more angles that you have to watch out for, especially compared to past Call of Duty games, and just the general movement of your character is very slow. Trying to cross out in the open or a street is very, very difficult and can be quite frustrating. There are some maps where it just feels like you're trying to run from point A to point B the entire time to get back into the action, but then you get taken almost instantly out of nowhere because of those combinations of different factors. And so it does take a while to get used to it, but it really just comes down to personal preference if you enjoy these kinds of mechanics. Some people have been loving this because this has been something that they've desired from the Call of Duty basically forever at this point. The COD franchise has been known for just run around like a lunatic the entire time, taking people out. But now you do have to take things a bit more methodically. On the other side of the spectrum though, you have players that don't like these kinds of systems because it's not what the COD franchise has been known for. When they play COD, they're expecting a certain experience and that's not what they're getting here. And so obviously they're not enjoying it as much. And so at least for me personally, what I would like to see is to allow for more of that aggressive playstyle. Right now, it doesn't seem like a lot of the weapon attachments in this game increase your aim down sight speed or your movement speed all that significantly. I think if they boosted those attachments to allow for more of that maneuverability, that would be a great step in the right direction. Movement is important in these kinds of video games, but that just seems to be one thing that kind of holds these players back. Now, I'm not saying that we need a return to bunny hopping and people running around corners at Mach 5. I'm not saying that it needs to go to that extreme, but it does appear that at least with the current attachment customization, that more aggressive playstyle isn't represented as much as compared to the other playstyles available. And so I would not be opposed if they tried to maybe increase that viability a little bit. That's kind of what I was going for. As for the time to kill though, it's difficult to say if this is something that they need to address. Maybe what Infinity Ward needs to do first is tackle some other issues here and there, and that might alleviate a lot of these problems that people are experiencing. Right now, people feel like they need to camp, and one of the reasons why is that fast TTK, but it also might be simply because of poor network performance. When you take someone out in this game, it feels really good, but when you're on the receiving end, it can almost appear like you got taken out instantaneously. Now that's also due in part because some of these weapons just hit ridiculously hard, but it's also because of some network delay that I think is causing those issues. And so let me know what you guys think on this topic. Do you think that the TTK is way too fast right now and you would like to see some adjusting? Do you think that it's in a perfect place and you actually like the way the game is performing right now? Or do you think that they need to tackle some other issues before they go in and make a dramatic change to the way that the weapons perform? Give me your guys' thoughts down below. The next question comes from Victor, and it is, do you think that Nook should be not detectable by pulse? Well, I definitely would not be opposed to having another direct counter to Pulse, even though this doesn't really make sense realistically whatsoever. At the same time, I don't think that this is really going to help Nook out all that much. I really believe that one of the reasons why she is so underwhelming is because she's 2 armor, 2 speed. I fully understand that Ubisoft was very reluctant to make her too strong. Apparently in development, she was going to have access to another weapon, but obviously that didn't pan out because they felt like she was too strong. She was apparently also going to have access to an ACOG, which was also too powerful. And so they've made some compromises to ensure that she didn't become a must pick in this operator that you see every single game. But at the same time, I think they went a bit too far with it, and mainly being 2 armor. Having 2 speed means that you're going to be making more noise than a 3-speed operator. her entire design is around stealth. She's supposed to be sneaky, but she's making more noise and she's slower at actually sneaking around the map. That just seems counterintuitive. And so what I would like to see, and I get it that Ubisoft is probably very hesitant and reluctant to do so, is just to make her a 3-speed operator. It fits her entire design. It would allow her to not only move around the map so that she isn't stuck out in the open when her gadget deactivates directly in front of a camera, but also lessens that audio a little bit so that she can fully be that sneaky character. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I'm kind of crossing my fingers. But yeah, guys, that is what it for today's episode of Monday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed today. Would you like to see some changes to Nook? How would you like them to go about it? Give me your guys' thoughts down below. As always, if you'd like to submit your own question for an upcoming episode, you can always leave a comment or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.